Bordesley Green Girls School, we have a fantastic provision for the deaf students. We work in collaboration with mainstream staff to ensure our students progress academically as well as socially. It's a whole school effort. Every member of the team works so hard and wants the very best for each and every student. This also feeds into our school ethos of bringing girls greater success and ensure that every student is valued and that they matter. Our team of specialist staff includes teachers of the deaf and teaching assistants who work closely with our deaf students on a daily basis. We usually have an intake of 2 to 3 students per academic year and currently have 12 in the hearing resource space. Students have varying levels of hearing loss and use hearing aids or cochlear implants and a radio aid system in class. We also offer a total communication approach using both sign and spoken language.
Considerate. So let's have a look in the dictionary what it means.
We work alongside mainstream staff to promote inclusion and high quality education for all. We also liaise with external professionals such as the speech and language therapist, educational psychologist and the audiologist, all to meet the needs of our deaf students. Some of our students travel to school by taxi, which can mean they arrive early. During this time, they tend to go to the herb or the computer room or even the library to socialise or catch up with their schoolwork.
I go in the taxi every day because this is not really my local school that I go to. I have to wake up every morning about 6:30 in the morning, really early. At the end of the day, it's very tiring, so we have to get back to the herb at 3:25, and then we have to put our equipment away, and then we go to the taxi. We're very, very tired from all the lessons that we've had, maybe exams even, and we just want to be at home.
We have a daily morning routine of checking students' equipment to ensure that it's working correctly. This is an important part of our busy day as students rely on their equipment to be able to access sound in lessons. Every now and again, technical issues do arise with the equipment and this can impact their learning. Sometimes we can fix the equipment. However, if the issue is more complex, then we contact our audiological technician to come in. This can mean the student is without their equipment and can miss out on the learning in class. So in such circumstances, the timetable is adjusted and staff are redeployed to support that particular student on the day.
One of the reasons why students come into the resource space in the first place is it's a language delay problem that they will have. Once they've got the building blocks of language, they can then begin to understand what it is that's being taught to them. So in that sense, when we do a lesson in the herb base, we can differentiate it, we can use visuals, as we've seen before, as many pictures to support language and ideas and concept. So we tend to use as many visual clues as possible. So one of the things when we do a withdrawal, we can not only slow down our pace, it's also the pace of the lesson to give them time. So we may well reduce the content of a mainstream lesson just to focus on 1 or 2 points to really get that home. So when they walk out, the idea is they've got some understanding of the concept.
In the lesson in the herb, it was peace and quiet, and it's more understanding than in mainstream lessons.
And he used sign language, so make it more easy for me. So sign language, it helps us because when you're signing, it just brings a picture in our head.
In mainstream, it's quite loud and teachers talk with other students. But in here, it's quiet. We take turns.
I feel comfortable asking my mainstream teachers. If I need help, I know they will help me. As a deaf person, they know sometimes it can be really hard for us to understand things.
For me, when I work with other hearing students, they can really talk fast. Sometimes I just ask them to slow down, or I give them transmitter. But sometimes I tell the teacher to mute transmitter and try to listen to them without transmitter so you can hear properly.
Okay, morning everyone. Mornings, you want to come in, collect some goggles from the front and then take a seat over at the back desk, okay?
One of the first things that I kind of thought about in my own practice was when we actually had a training session about what the deaf students can actually hear. and I realise it's really, really minimal. So I think the very first thing is just have absolutely no background noise at all. Make sure the door is always closed, make sure no other students are speaking, that I'm in a central area as well so they can see me. I know a lot of the students can kind of lip read as well, so I'm really, really kind of methodical in the way they talk as well, kind of a slow pace.
Then what you're going to do, you're going to use the burette to actually add the acid to the conical flask. Now let me show you how to do that.
And then if there is any words that are new to them, like with the burette today, just make sure that always pronounce those slowly, and make sure try and put them in a sentence 2 or 3 times, using them as examples as well, so they become familiar with them. As well as that, making sure the radio aid is correctly positioned as well. I've known in the past with my own practice, I've had my lanyard on and other things on as well that can kind of block it. So make sure I always take that off and make sure that it's always correctly placed so they can hear it. And again, just make sure that the students can actually hear me. In terms of the lesson, always have about 3 or 4 key words that they can write down, that they can refer back to as well. As well as that, I don't kind of stigmatise them. I always put them, match them up with other people as well, so they're working not just with people that they work with normally, but with different groups as well, so they're kind of integrated into the lesson.
Herb students are integrated into normal classes and follow the same schemes of work as everybody else. We do a thematic approach, so they get to discover different topics, different artists. They're supported well by the Herb team, who support in lessons, check their understanding, push them a little bit more. Many of them choose to follow GCSE. It's easier for them to see good results, and I think they enjoy working on their own and in their own time on it because it's their own choices.
Hi ladies, how are you?
Good.
Good. Okay, alright, what we're going to be doing today, ladies, is we're going to be continuing with working on our assessment today. I've had a range of students from the Herb throughout a period of years, and I find that they're absolutely lovely girls, really engaged, really enthusiastic and keen to learn, and I don't have any issues in that respect because they are just really want to get on with their learning and really enthused with the subject. Some of the students that I've had from the Herb within sociology, they've had support, or I might wear a radio aid, or if they're watching anything then they'll have the subtitles. They know that they can come to me if they need anything, or if I need to speak slowly or kind of gesticulate with my hands more so. With the lower school, I have a lot of Herb students and they tend to sit on the front row. They're very enthusiastic, very chatty, lots of personality, and they're lovely and they're very engaged, and I really do love teaching them.
So I've taught a lot of Herb students in mainstream science, and I've always been really impressed by their attitude, very positive, hard-working students, and really very much integrated within our mainstream school. I find that often the science curriculum suits our students because science is a very visual subject. So for Herb students, we have an emphasis on vocabulary in science. We always do, because keywords in science are key. So repetition of the vocabulary, introducing the vocabulary deliberately, really helps our Herb students, but it's part of our mainstream curriculum in science anyway. I also teach science in French to Year 7 students here, and in those lessons, we are really emphasising looking at keywords and looking at the vocabulary, because we look at French scientific vocabulary, for example, la système solaire, which is the French for the solar system, and that emphasis on looking at keywords and really hunting for clues in words is really beneficial for Herb students, because it helps them with their literacy skills, and it helps them with their language needs really, and often because the lessons have to be visual.
Trouvez les cognates. Trouvez les cognates. Trouvez les cognates. Expliquez. Find cognates. Merci. Un point. Okay.
If I'm talking to students in French, none of the students are French speakers. And in some ways that puts everybody, all the mainstream students, all the Herb students, on the same level. And when I'm talking in French, I have to be very visual. I have to use a lot of gesture. I have to use repetition. I have to use lots of props and images, and those things really support our Herb students in the lessons as well.
So in terms of the assessments, there's a range that we do. There's about 3 or 4 We will look at grammar, vocabulary, inference, all sorts of different ways of functional language. We use all these tools to get an idea of the levels they're at. It does help to pinpoint and then use those elements to make language targets for them that are achievable. So they're quite a key thing. And also it's really good to explain to mainstream teachers, when you've got data like that, this child's vocabulary level is 5 years old, sometimes 4, and they're a year 8 child, it really brings home how they're coping with language to teachers. So in that sense, they're a really good diagnostic tool. As well as withdrawals, we also do interventions for things like GCSE subjects in English and Maths, where we'll bring them out. We work with the other departments to see what time they can release them for. And then we can work on the English and the Maths as they're approaching their GCSEs. So that's very sort of concentrated. Poetry in English is a very difficult one. It's probably the most difficult one for our students to understand. So when this poetry comes up for English, we will do withdrawals and some interventions to make sure they've got some idea of how to approach the poem and what it's really about. We do a smile therapy, which is about life skills, functional language. So they're taken, well, they're given a situation where they have to communicate, ask for something. So we take them through these everyday situations and try to supplement the language that goes along with it, so they have the confidence, because they can go into situations but not have the confidence or the language even to express that, and that can be very frustrating. They've been taken to New Street, bought coffees, bought tickets for the train independently, just to get them used to being independent and having confidence. So things like the smile therapy is really important, and they really enjoy that. To them it's not like a lesson, it's just time out, but really invaluable.
Access arrangements for examinations are implemented from Year 7 so that the students are given the opportunity to practice in preparation for the GCSE exams. Herb students can potentially receive exams in an acoustically set up room instead of the hall, a reader to read material for the examination except for English, a BSL signer if required, and 25% extra time.
Social interaction is extremely important and at times can prove to be difficult, in particular for young deaf people. Something simple such as having group conversation at lunchtime can be stressful because it is difficult to follow due to the pace, different tone and level of sound in the background. The deaf students tend to interact within their small group of friends as they feel they have a better understanding of each other. We do, however, encourage them to interact with students of different age groups and outside their friendship circles. Each week we hold a games club at lunchtime where the deaf students invite their peers from mainstream.
When my lady came here, I just met her, and she every time when I invite her for games club every Friday, and she enjoying so much. I will be such my best friend.
I think Afza is a really nice friend. When I came to school, she just came through to my life like that quick, and she just, what's your name? And as I said my name and she said her name, I just be her friend really quick.
This is a great way of promoting their social skills and confidence. It's important they develop the skills to be able to mix with people from all walks of life, especially when considering future educational plans. We've had the opportunity of working with teachers of the deaf from around the world, China, Thailand, Zambia and Slovenia, and together we've created a board game especially for deaf children. The aim of the Takatuka game is to develop a specific language. Our girls love to play Takatuka.
Social development is an important part of the HERB curriculum, and we try to ensure that we take students out on many trips as possible. Trips can be for academic and social purposes. Trips provide students with the opportunity of being independent, to lead and to organise themselves and others. During the Christmas break, we take students to the pantomime and to visit the German markets, and this helps us to incorporate British values and diversity in our teaching and learning.
We try to enrich their learning and take them on trips outside the kind of usual school environment, places like the Apple Store or art galleries to do workshops, and They're supported specifically by a TA who helps them negotiate new situations, train stations, buying their dinners at McDonald's, understanding what's going on at the galleries.
Students have had the opportunity of working with deaf artists from the Handprint Theatre, and one of the workshops focused on life skills where students had to make positive choices on how to lead a balanced life. We've also had deaf adults come in who've shared their life experiences with our students. In order to make sure our students remain healthy, we take part in sporting events arranged by Panathlon, and this year our students went bowling. We make regular trips to the BID, the Birmingham Institute for the Deaf, where we take part in various activities, and students then become aware of what services are available to them. And this is also the case with the NDCS, the National Deaf Children's Society. To celebrate their deafness, students arrange a variety of activities during Deaf Awareness Week, with the aim being to promote deafness and to get the whole school and staff involved. To reward our students for all their hard work and effort during the year, we take them out on a residential trip, and it's just great to see how much progress they have made and how much their confidence has grown.
We went on a lot of trips, and we went to Cabby World, we went to residential trip, we went to bowling, and I found it fun and we enjoyed ourselves.
So a huge part of our role as teachers of the deaf in the hearing resource base centres around pastoral care. So apart from the box standard pastoral care that we provide for our students in terms of dealing with friendship issues and providing with a safe environment in which they can have those restorative conversations, we also provide targeted and specialised pastoral support for our deaf students who are very, very unique, and they all come to us with different backgrounds and different experiences. So part of our pastoral care revolves around preparing them for life as young adults, helping them understand, accept and celebrate the deafness, and helping them to become members of the society that can function and that can have something to give to the community. We've got a pastoral team in the school, wider pastoral team that we have very, very close links with and we work very well with. However, we also provide support for parents with pastoral issues, because we do understand that they're with us for 8 hours of the day and the other 16 hours of the day they are at home with the families. So we are there to provide that support for families as well, and in particular parents. We do work with a lot of external agencies to get even more specialised pastoral support when we require it, such as the NDCS, the Birmingham Institute of the Deaf, and also DeafCam. So that is also a very big part of our job, because we also want to ensure that our students know that when they leave us, it's very important that they understand and that they know that there is a network of support out there for them, and there are external services that they could seek advice and support with, as we're not always going to be there to provide that support. So when we set up the resource base, what we set out to do is apart from helping students to achieve academic success, to provide an environment in which they feel safe, in which they feel that there is a trusted adult that they can talk to, who will support them and who will do everything they can to look after their mental health and their well-being, because we all know that happy students who feel positive about who they are and their identity ultimately achieve better academically. So not only do I believe that we've achieved that, but I think as a resource base that is one of our main strengths, the pastoral care that we are able to provide for our deaf students.
When she first joined in 2015 and we came and met the Herb staff, Mr. Parker and Mrs. Iqbal at the time, we were very concerned about Afza because she was more of an introvert at the time. She was very behind on her communication skills. She was very behind on her interaction skills, interpersonal skills, communication skills, and we were concerned that will she be able to fit in with other girls in this school, being so much socially behind. And I remember one thing Mr. Parker said at the time. He says, Mansoor, give her 1 year and we'll sit down and we'll then discuss it. And when I sat in year 8, the education and curriculum plan meeting, or the statemented, when they had the meeting, Afza was a completely changed girl. She was more of a confident girl. She was socially more interactive. She had a lot of friends, and we were so happy. I have to say that a lot of the credit goes to the staff at the Herb, because they put their passion into what they do, and that's what happens. What makes the difference. It's more of the one-to-one and the other stuff outside the academic. Afza is in year 10 now, and she's a completely changed woman. She's very independent. She's very socially interactive. She does a lot of things in the school which I would expect even a mainstream, a girl with not having hearing impaired would. She does reception duties. She does all this volunteering work at the school. So I'm very happy.
Officer, please can you go and get Sarah Khan from room 7 and take her to key stage 3 now, please? Okay, that's your job. Thank you.
Some of the things that I really like about the Hub is not just the focus on the academic abilities and the help around the speech therapy and the other stuff, but they take them outside on trips, which enhances the skills, the social skills, the interaction skills. It helps them to be prepared for the post-16, when they go out, and help them with the life skills and making them believe in themselves and believe in their abilities, believe in things. But one of the things is the Herb staff has an open door policy. If I have any concerns, and I've done this, if I have any concern which is outside the school but I need advice, or I have to apply to, let's say, disability living allowance, or I have to apply to a child tax credit office, and I need support and some advice and how I should do the forms, and how they support you, which is not their responsibility, but they'll go out of their way to support you outside the school. So in a way they're supporting Afza.
What I like about Herb is there are a lot of clubs going on. I go to games club at lunchtime every week because we play lots of different games, and it was quite fun to be with. And we play games with other deaf and hearing students. I also go to homework club. Teachers help you with homework that you're struggling with. When you have assembly, we have a teacher that's signed for us so we can understand what is going on in school.
We get lots of kind of support. We have Herb staff come to lessons to help and explain what teacher says, and they help the tasks that are given and make it more simple for you, because sometimes it can be hard. The words can be really hard for us to understand. Also, they use pictures to explain, and they break it down more easy, so we are able to understand and know what the work is. Also, we are taken to the Herb for one-to-one work, and it's more quiet in the Herb.
I like Herb because the Herb always has me in lesson, and I will understand in the lesson. And every morning, the Herb teacher always came by me to check if I have my 2 cochlear.
I come to Games Club with my deaf friends. They always invite me on every Friday, and we have so much fun and we play different games. In lessons, I sit with my deaf friends and I see them signing to each other when they're struggling, and they help each other, and the teacher come and support them.
I like the Herb because they help me with my problems, equipment, and do homework. I like the Herb room because it is quiet.
This year we celebrated Deaf Awareness Week, and my friend Zainab gifted me a NDCS shirt, and I love sign language, and my deaf friends taught me how to spell my name, Naomi.
The Herb teacher helped me with the lesson jar, and in the lesson, when works are really hard, I ask for them for the help to make it a lot easier to understand. When I forget my cooking ingredient, I get Miss Islam to help me write it down on my planner.
What I like about the Herb staff is that I get loads of support from the teachers, and they help me understand in my lessons, and they always help me get my equipment every morning. This helped me understand how to use my radio aid, and it makes me hear more clearly in class, and I understand what the teacher is saying, and I understand what the lesson is about. In the future, I want to become a teacher of the deaf. I want to communicate with other deaf children so I understand what their problems are, and I just want to help them understand if they get any struggle with anything. It helps me want to communicate with them by using my sign language.
When I first came here, I was a bit nervous and scared because it was quite a big school, and when I came to the Herb, I feel more comfortable because of the teachers making me feel comfortable with this school. And from year 7 to now, when I'm year 11, I feel very more comfortable and I can do things myself. I have see lots of one-to-one support in English, reading lots of past papers, and first we did small test, and then the teachers got over it and checked what I need help with, and then we did it together, highlighting, annotated the poem or the story, and in maths we went over the past paper small test, and Miss helps me where I got things wrong, like which question I got wrong, and then we go over it again to see if I could do it. I felt ready for the exam because I've done lots of exam papers and with one-to-one teachers. My favourite hobby is taking pictures, and in the future I want to be a photographer, and from Solihull I want to do course in Solihull College.
I love this school because it's just really nice. It's made me happy. Deaf Awareness Week was good. All week we had activities planned for the students, and for us to express ourselves as deaf children, and it's just really, really nice. Also, we had a Friday assembly with the Deaf Hand Theatre, which was great. And I represented my deaf t-shirt to one of my friends called Ikra, and she's really, really nice to me. She's always very nice and helpful, and I've had loads of those friends over the school years. Whenever the teacher's giving out homework and she said it verbally, I can't really hear because everyone's packing away. I don't really know what the homework is, but it's a good idea for the teacher to write it down on the board so that we can copy it into our planners and we can get the homework done. Sometimes when the teachers wear different radio aids, they put it on differently, and they don't really, and the microphones always get stuck at the back. If the mic's at the back, I always put my hands up and tell the teacher that the mic's at the back of of their clothing, and that they need to put it over here so we deaf children can hear them. I would just like everyone to know that deaf students are exactly the same. There's no difference. It's just the fact that we can't really hear very well, and I just love being a deaf student here, and I love being at the school. It really helps me. Being deaf doesn't really stop me to be achieving anything I want. I really want to be an actress, and I know some people, some actresses are deaf, like Marley Martin, and she's deaf and she's been in films before and she's written books as well. And I just really, really love to be an actress when I'm older.
In my career at many different schools, I've often taught students with hearing impairment. This is the first time I've worked at a school with a Herb, and I've found that really helps for inclusion, because of the students I teach now, I'm confident that I support them in the way that I need to, that they can access the curriculum in the way that they need to, because I've had the right training from my colleagues in the Herb. Having a teacher of the deaf on site means that the students I teach can get the support they need, but myself as a teacher, I can get the support I need and the training I need. Often our teachers of the deaf and our TAs working in the Herb, they provide training and they provide one-to-one support and advice to teachers to make sure that teachers can support the students in the best way possible and everybody can access the curriculum.
We are proud of all our students and their achievements. You see them grow and mature, and there's a great sense of achievement knowing that you've contributed to their lives. It's a challenging job, but nevertheless we've celebrated many success stories where students have passed their GCSE exams and have progressed on to college or have gone into the workplace. We strive to ensure that our students receive the best education and leave as confident, independent women ready to take on the wider world.
If I were to describe the Hub in 3 words, I would say they're amazing, helpful and just really fun.